clear day. It's the 6th of November 2025 and it actually feels quite warm. I say warm for November. Let's get that right. Quite a strong smell of petrol or fumes. Still a bit breezy. Not too bad though. I feel like I need to tighten my watch. It might be the cold. Hello. Let's tighten that watch. Take it up a notch. Just feels too loose. That's better, still running. I'm also going to apologise if the video is a bit wonky. I do have a horizon levelling mode, but I lose too much image quality when I use it. Only at 4K, it would be fine at 1080p, but I like 4K crisp video. So if it is a bit wonky, sorry, because the image stabilizer just takes the edge off the details, and I don't like that. They are very, very good cameras, these DJI cameras, though. The best technology I think you can get, to be honest, for the price. So I'm not unhappy with it. Just know that it might be slightly off, might be slightly out of kilter. What a great day. When my legs are facing the wind, I can actually feel the warmth of the sun. It's quite nice. So we're approaching Les Amarats on the left. Crow Sanctuary. So we're now at Ladies Bay. Lovely for swimming. Usually very sandy. Morning. Thank you. The brake's worn a bit, that's good. The swimmers are out. Very popular activity over here. Swimming, and people do swim throughout most of the seasons. I don't, because I freeze. I lack the insulation. Trying to think of a diplomatic way to put it. Very beautiful. Let's stop for a moment so you can have a look. How about that? Absolutely amazing place in the summer. Oh, it's quite an amazing place all year, really, but particularly nice in the summer. There's something in the air which is reminding me of sandwich spread, and I have a bit of a penchant for sandwich spread. Yeah, it's definitely sandwich spread. It's really good on toast with Guernsey butter. So the entire bay on my right is Grand Havre. At least I think so. Finding a map with all of the bay names on it for Guernsey is impossible. A map does not exist. It might have some of the bays in, but a lot of them aren't, and it's frustrating. I might create one myself one day and just spend months researching what they're all supposed to be called. Very beautiful. This fine weather has brought out lots of insects, and I'm breathing them in. Extra protein. I wonder if you absorb the protein through your lungs as well. It's probably true. Thanks. Hello. Next time I buy a bike, I'm going to get one with rear suspension too, because my gluteus maximus and pelvic girdle, or whatever they call it, has taken a real beating. I suppose you could actually take that out of context, couldn't you? Yes. Well, don't. That's not a dare. It's not every day I say something like that, though. Well, it gave me a tickle anyway. You can't beat a little bit of scatological humour. Bring back humour, that's what I say. We're losing too much of it. We need to all chill out and take the piss out of each other like we used to. It's much more fun. It teaches us to accept other views and take them in a light-hearted way, and also to look at differences too, and almost see them as things that we find charming rather than divisive. Because the moment you start blocking humour, you start creating further division. We need speech freedoms. They're very important, and we need to learn to accept offence. We are going to get offended from time to time, but we build up resilience by learning to not take offence. They're just words after all. I know words can hurt. I've had a lot of hurtful words said to me, and they caused me emotional harm. But I learn from those challenges and build up resilience, build up stoicism. Hello, Mr. Crow. I really think that's a better thing. I'd rather be offended and hurt than have people silenced. It's what do they say? You can't enjoy the sweetness of pleasure without having tasted the poison of pain. Cool. Let's cruise a little bit. The restaurant up there on my left, the Puffin and Oyster. It's nice, has a nice view, some good food. Pricey though, but that really is the same all over Guernsey. It doesn't really matter where you go, you will pay a fortune for food. I was trying to score some points.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Bit of banterage, never hurts. Lightens the mood, elevates the spirit. Oh, this is bumpy. Quick swig. On your right. You can stay still, don't worry. Thank you. Hello. Morning. Don't take my sunshine away. I'm sure that's a good song. I'm trying to remember the name of this bay as well. I think it's Port something. Port Gras. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. Now the one we're coming up to after this bay, where I will make another stop, is Poulious Point. I think the bay next to it is Poulious Bay, but I haven't checked that for a while. I thought I'd tell you that now before I forget when I get there. Hello.
Morning.
Lots of happy people because it's sunny. Well, it was sunny, apart from a little bank of cloud. Now we're doing 121 beats per minute. That's about right for a leisurely cycle. I think my camera is a bit lopsided. Like I said, it's very difficult to tell, and it slips and slides about as I move anyway. I wonder if I should use my handlebars instead, but I do actually like recording when I get off the bike as well. So it's more convenient to have a chest harness. Plus, if I get involved in an accident, having it on my chest is useful because a lot of people hit and run over here. And if I do have enough wherewithal, I can lift up the camera in view of the vehicle that struck me. That isn't paranoia either. I've been hit twice. And on one of those occasions I had to go to hospital and I had broken ribs and lots of scars from grazing from the road. I was not at fault at all. I was broadsided. And the other time before that I was again broadsided and rolled over someone's roof. But I was completely unharmed, which was a miracle. even that one I didn't bother reporting because there's just too many close shaves. I've had my arms knocked a few times, but just a light tap usually. I always assess the situation and ask myself, was this person being a complete dick because, you know, they're that type of person, or do they look shocked and astonished and certainly do not appear to be under the influence of anything? If they're the latter, then it's accidental. If you've got injuries, of course, you need to report it, or if someone else was injured or there was damage to property, etc. But a lot of these things, they're just not worth reporting. It's not going to achieve anything, it just creates paperwork. There's the smelly pond on my left. That's not the official name, of course. There's a strong smell of smoke. I wonder if that's leftover fireworks or bonfires on Guy Fawkes. I'm sorry I haven't delved into anything philosophical yet. I usually do. I might. There's plenty of things I could talk about at the moment. There was one I was talking about the other day. I did take a recording, but the audio was really bad, so I had to throw away the video. Oh, what have we got? A meeting of herring gulls. So this is the Puleus Point. You do get some nice waves here, and it's not bad for adventuring. There are some lovely places to explore over the rocks. Right, always guzzle a little bit more than you think you need. Unless, of course, you're in dire straits. Yes, I was talking about self-esteem the other day. I do worry that too many people lack self-esteem. It's a very difficult thing to deal with because I would say most of us suffer it. It takes a long time to build up your confidence. A lot of people are very lucky that they've had starts in life which have given them a strong sense of self and ego, where they can stand up and carry on. But many of us, in fact I would say probably most, over 50%, we've all suffered some sort of persecution. We've all been taunted and bullied and teased and mocked, and it's affected our emotional state so much that we've retreated a little bit. And I think a lot of us cover up by socialising and gaining lots of friends for support and find security in that. But that breaks down when we encounter a situation where we are being mocked and teased again. And that's a real shame. And so what do I have to say about it? Well, I'm not sure whether I have any pearls of wisdom to kind of inspire, but I suppose what I can say, and hopefully you can hear me despite the wind, is that you have to love yourself. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, it's roadway. Yeah, so you must love yourself. You must love yourself before you're prepared to love anything else. Okay? You perceive the world through your own lens. You're in this world, you are important, and you don't need to be achieving things that others achieve in order to have self-esteem. You need to be doing the things that you want to. And if you can't, you need to also be looking at the things that you can do despite your challenges, okay? Where people go wrong is when they give up completely and they just sort of shrivel and say, well, I'm just worthless, I can't do these things, I'm rubbish. And they just sink further and further. But that's a self-inflicted judgment, okay? No matter what people say about you and no matter what happens in your life, you're the manager of your own self-esteem. You're in charge of that. That's something you can, which means that's something you can change, okay? So I suppose that is the pearl of wisdom. The pearl of wisdom is that you're not given your self-esteem. It's something you give to yourself. It's your own score. And once you really start to understand that, you can do something about it if you think it lacks in any way. I don't mean suddenly racing out the door and, doing brave things or whatever it is that's on your mind. I mean loving yourself first, putting yourself as being important in the world, no matter what's going on, and build from there. Discover what that means. What does it mean to love yourself, to take care of yourself, to respect yourself? Well, you'll find your place eventually, and better things will spring from there. I'm pretty sure of it. And of course, I'm no expert. I always like to remind people, sometimes when I give advice, people try to contradict me by saying, well, let's take a look at your life. You're not successful. You're not perfect. Well, of course not. I'm very, very ordinary. I'm a little bit autistic, a bit eccentric. I'm introverted most of the time, and I've got character flaws. But on the whole, I'm a good person, I would say so. I've got a good sharp mind, a good imagination, and I've got guts and determination, but I'm also very emotional. So I fuck up just as much as anybody else, really. And I've had some huge fuck ups, massive amounts. I've got health problems too, even though I'm out enjoying some cycling. I suffer a lot with ill health, so I fight it. I don't let it get on top of me, and I get to do a lot of things that I want to do, which I think is what's important. But I'm not bringing in fabulous amounts of money. I'm not popular. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't even have many people that talk to me. In fact, I'm largely ignored and ostracised most of the time. But it doesn't bother me. It's because I'll tell you in a moment. Morning. And the reason why it doesn't bother me is, in a way, I have built up a love of myself, a respect for myself. As long as I'm doing what I really want to do, that's all that matters. I don't have to stand out. I don't have to impress anybody. I just have to be doing what's right for me. And when I can occasionally help somebody else, it makes me feel good. But I don't have to do that all the time. I just see that as a noble way to improve my mental state is to just occasionally give something away to somebody or help them out or say something nice to them or try and help out in a difficult situation and try and just pass on that goodwill. They say pay it forwards. I think that's something which we all need to do a lot more of. And it helps the person that you're paying it forwards to, but it also helps you. Helps you grow stronger, grows a bit more independence internally. And most of life is like, ooh, this has been surfaced. Most of life, there was no sign saying don't go on it. Okay, let's go on it. So most of life is very much like the weather. You get really nice, bright, beautiful, warm, sunny days, and you get storms. So expecting it to be great weather all the time is very unrealistic. But here's the thing, right? Have a little bit of a whinge when it's bad weather, like you do in reality. But you know, as with the weather, good days are going to come along soon, and that's the way you should look at life. Is you have to just sort of realise that you're going to get bad times, but it's not going to stay like that, especially if you're doing something about it. Yeah, it's very interesting. There's a lovely smell of tarmac. It's nice. I'm going to have to go on the path, I think. They might still be doing the road. Morning. Let's go in all-terrain mode. This could be a bit deep. Oh, yep. I think I just got a spade full of sand in my left shoe. And the right one. So we've covered one topic there, self-esteem, there you go. Now you feel better. We're all pretty fucked up, really. Most of us are pretending things are good. You never get exactly what you want. You just got to make the best of it. That's what keeps you grinning. Morning.
All right, mate. Okay.
Thank you. Sand's a bit wetter here, that's good. A bit firmer. Terra firma. I love it when words like that make a bit more sense. I can remember them better. One of those little white flowers are sweet alyssum. Smells a bit like honey. Lovely plant. And it sprouts very well at this time of year because all of the other plants have died back, so the light's coming through. and it's able to take advantage of the decay of the earlier growth. It's a lovely emergent effect, or emergent function and structure combined, where different species have evolved to pop up at different times or seize opportunities when the conditions make it possible. That's quite beautiful. It's like a story that unfolds every year, which is a familiar tune, but paints a different picture every time. Just slight differences, slight variations of novelty, and in the longer term adapts as the environment changes. That's the genius of evolution. Well, evolution isn't really something which is planned, right? It is emergent in itself. So let's call it emergence. Portswath on my right. So Portswath is here and also on my right. On my left is Port o Malad. And there's a lovely fort over there at Grand Rock. Let's have a swig. This is a very special place. Right, don't want to bore you with sitting around. Let's carry on. Hello. Let's take a slightly different route so that you can see the fort. Up we go. Glorious place. I love the shape of it. Something really special about the way that granite gets a weathering and in places gets encrusted with various lichens. It has a fantastic shape and texturing. I love it. stoppage here. Mind the poo. Well, seem to be losing the sunshine. Had a little bit of it on the way here, which was good. But there's a lot of cloud there now. So it looks like it's going to be there for a while. So grey over there, a little bit of blue over there. But unfortunately, the sun's over there. Right, let's get this going. Oh, what's this doing? Thinks I'm in distress. Resume. Tell you what, let's pop that over the top to hold it in place. Now we've got an aircraft on doing drills by the looks of it. Must be the RAF. Can you see it up there? I guess you can. Good weather for doing drills. Bit of a mix. Very tempting to go and get some Cornish pasties from Cobo Butchers, but I'm going to resist, I think, and just get some burgers from Morrison's Lillet today and stock up a bit there as well. Get some provisions in. Because I could eat burgers and Cornish pasties every day for the rest of my life. I've got to be careful. I've got to try and remember to eat other things. One of the fascinating things about my autism, or my type of autism, only one of the aspects, is I do like my patterns. I sink into things, and then I like the routine. I enjoy it. I do enjoy new things too, but I love the coziness of a routine. Right, so we're going to see what it's like on the roads. Seeing as the weather's turning a bit, it might rain, so I don't think rain is forecast, but I don't want to get rained on, and I'm feeling a bit peckish. I'm hoping as well that one day, still closed, I have to go along the coast bit on the path then. I'm sure I can access the path, yes I can. I do hope one day that these videos that I take cycling about, I know I do the same trails most of the time, but that's just me. But I do hope, getting on the point, that they serve as also a documentary for the future, because things might be very different in the future. Let's say in 100 years' time, that this might even be eroded away by by sea level rises. Who knows? Or we might have gone through some other revolution and people behave differently, look differently. And this may be a distant memory. I mean, in 100 years' time, this could all just be skyscrapers everywhere. I don't know, maybe longer than that, but you can never tell. Sometimes things can happen very quickly. So, wouldn't it be lovely if somebody could just see what it's like on the 6th of November 2025 in Guernsey on the West Coast Trails. I also hope that some people use them for exercise too on their stationary bikes, but I have great trouble with my videos getting them popular. Oh, thanks. Yeah, watch out. Yeah, I have a lot of trouble getting my videos popular. Mostly it's because I don't really work at being an influencer. I don't promote them. I don't edit them to make them attractive or anything like that. But more recently, I am getting shadow banned by YouTube itself. There was a bit of an incident. I'll not go into the details, but I was not in the wrong. But they decided to basically significantly deplete my traffic at one point by over 95%, and it's struggling to recover since. So I hope that my videos do get some attention in the future and don't get removed. I'm not going to say help me like and share. No, I refuse. I'm not going to do all of that. You don't have to hit that share button, you don't have to hit that like button, you don't have to do a single sodding thing. If you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I don't need you to tell the world about it. You just enjoy yourself. And if you hated it, let me know. I might learn something. It's odd actually, I do have plenty of video editing equipment, which is very good. And I do have a fair amount of skills and the wherewithal to edit videos properly. But it's too time consuming. I'm too busy doing other things. It's not a priority. I don't want to waste a lot of my life fussing over how videos look. I'd rather just chuck them out raw as is and be done with it. It's quicker that way. Hello. Right, I'm going to do a quick pit stop to check that I am actually recording. There we go, I have just asserted that I was recording. Talk about absent-minded professor. I rather like the professor part, but I doubt that's true. But the absent-minded part, definitely. When you've got an imagination like mine, you tend to daydream a lot, and being mindfully in the present is not my forte. Hello. Yeah, so I'm usually daydreaming. I mean, daydreaming I think is really not the right word. That's the word we use, but daydreaming almost sounds like you're not doing anything productive. But my daydreams are productive. I daydream about all sorts of things, sometimes bad, sometimes good. Even ideas, things I might want to do, odd things, peculiar things. Sometimes I'm telling myself off because I see somebody and I have an adverse reaction. I think to myself, my God, they're incredibly fat. And I don't want to do that. So, very noisy aircraft, hopefully you can hear me. So I give myself a little bit of a telling off to try and think more critically about the situation and overcome the sort of the pre-trained network in my head from childhood where all that bias and prejudice was grown. Can't see the aircraft, that's a shame. That BMW has been there for a very long time. It has a note on it that says police aware, so that's good. I'm amazed it hasn't been moved. Must be a solid reason though. Yes, bias and prejudice. That's something that is a double-edged sword. It's helpful in that it's a shortcut to thinking, which can be useful. We can conceptualize situations faster by using bias. But it can also be a negative. We can reach for bias too quickly sometimes, and we can end up doing bad things to each other because of that. And hopefully we learn to use critical thinking to sort of navigate our way through that marsh. I do often find that bias is usually the problem. Even in my own thinking, I notice myself using bias sometimes. I am more tuned in, I think, than a lot of people into seeing that. But I will hold my hand up and say that I have bias, which I wrestle with. But I think, unfortunately, a lot of people haven't been either in the right circumstances or received the right education to understand what bias is, and they just believe that what they believe in is true, which is often not the case. Belief is something else. Belief isn't fact. Belief is bias. Even scientists have bias. It's everywhere. But it can get in the way of us finding peace. And so we must try to make ourselves aware of it. And strive to think more critically. It is very difficult, of course. Always got to be careful around people on phones. But bias is a danger, and also it's often weaponized. And even there are a lot of people who know they have bias, but they see it as an opportunity, so they exploit that bias by encouraging others to share in it, and they profit from that either politically or emotionally. And so the whole situation gets a lot more complex. Because then you're dealing with intelligent people who understand they have a negative bias, but they're not willing to alter it because they profit from it. You will always find it very difficult to combat that. I can't think of the right word for it, but it requires kindness. It requires people to give up that profit, and that's a big ask. I think I pointed out to a friend the other day, one of the two main issues with people that I find as an observer from my autistic viewpoint is that most seem to suffer people seem to suffer from hypergamy or avarice, in the sense that suffering is a blindness. And that sort of disintegrates the love that we should be giving to each other. I don't mean that in a hippie sense or even in a religious sense. It's the love that stems from peacefully giving each other freedom to express ourselves and enjoy our lives without any undue negative influence. That is a form of love. It's to respecting each other, caring for each other, standing up for each other, all those things. We don't do enough of that. We're all being polarised by political ideas, and those ideas are being strengthened by bias, and that's a huge problem. Morning. I think that's the problem of the age, really. It's always been a problem, right? Yeah. We've always been coerced by rhetoric that seems to touch on the emotive angles that we're sensitive to. Not quite sure what I mean there, but you'll work it out. But even more so today, with all the information we have, you'd think we'd be doing better, but we're not, because all that information is doing is making bias even worse. So if I had any pearls of wisdom that I think are the topmost, is I would really like to see people learn critical thinking. Even if they think they do know it, learn more. The more of us that resort to critical thinking, the better things will become. That's my antidote for a bad future. Morning. Well, that all did get a bit philosophical, I suppose, isn't it? So beautiful. So this is Roos. Sorry, I should have been calling out all of the beach names. Hello. Thank you. I'm sure the wind's changed direction. Feels a bit adversarial, the wind now. It's making me breathe. That's got me panting a little bit. Time for some food. Home sweet home.